Welcome back to Real Facts. You are now live with Shaneablanco. Welcome. All right, so my next topic is going to be about another fatal attraction story. These stories that I tell you guys are based off true events, and hopefully it helps someone along the way to, try to, if you're in a situation, of course, get out of it. So anyway, this story is about a young woman. She was 24 years old at the time, living out in Chicago. Her name is Lasonya. Her boyfriend by the name of Larry, well, her ex-boyfriend, he was very abusive to her. Everything was sweet, of course. When they first got together, they ended up having a child together. She started working at the United States Post Office, but behind the scenes at home, things were getting really bad for her. So Larry had ended up putting his hands on her, causing her to have 2 black eyes, bruises all over her body. And things was just, it was getting so complicated to the point that she was starting to miss work because of the situation. So she knew she had to escape. So she ended up getting an apartment quietly, moving out of Larry's apartment or whatever. So she found her an apartment. She went and got a restraining order against him. But that didn't stop Larry. Larry came back and he started trying to beg her to come back to him, begging her to be with him. And she just didn't want to be with him. So he started damaging everything in her apartment. And the damages were so bad that her landlord had made her move. And so after that, she didn't have anyone to turn to. Her mother had passed away when she was a little girl. Her family wasn't close. So she felt like she had no choice but to go back to him. So when she moved back in with him, things had got worse to the point like the bruises, she was starting to get more bruises. He blacked her eye again, and it was just getting out of hand. So she planned her escape again from him. This time, I believe her job had noticed the situation was going on, and they offered her some help, and they actually bought her an apartment, got her into an apartment, a new apartment in a nice and safe neighborhood. They bought her a car, and when Larry found out, because she took photos of her car, I guess somehow when she met up with him for their kids' sake, he grabbed her phone. And when he saw that she had a new car, he promised that he was going to destroy it. Well, he did. He grabbed her keys and stole her car and crashed it into a pole. But right before that, he busted out all of her windows. So at this point, Sonya is feeling hopeless. She's feeling helpless. She doesn't know which way to turn. So one particular day, that was on Valentine's Day that this had happened. She heard some noise in her trunk or in her car. Apparently, Larry was inside of the trunk waiting for her. He also had a Valentine's Day gift in the back seat of the car. And after that, I guess she had an argument with him and, left him again. And he found her and came back and she was in her car and he pulled up beside her and he was constantly begging her to be with him. At this time, her uncle was standing in between them, in between the cars. So he pulled out his gun and started shooting at the uncle. He shot the uncle 8 times and he fell to the ground. And then by this time, Lasonya had jumped out of the car and she ran to her grandmother's house. So I guess she was parked in front of her grandmother's house. And he shot her 11 times. And then he also shot her grandmother. So I guess after all of this, the neighbors had they heard what was going on and everybody called the police. There were multiple police reports. Also, right before he left, he aimed at her Lasonya's car where her kid was at in the back seat, and he shot up the car. And luckily, none of the bullets hit the little boy. So after he fled the scene because he knew the police was coming or whatever, he went on Facebook Live and confessed to everything that he did, saying that he loved her so much and he just didn't want to leave her. He didn't want her to leave him. So he just snapped. He said he was under a lot of pressure and he just didn't want to let the relationship go. But before all of this, Sonya had made several police reports, and the cops just never did anything about it until after the shooting had happened. She said she couldn't believe that a man that claimed he loved her so much and she loved him would betray her like that. He put her in the hospital. She suffered, I guess, damage to her liver, and down below on her legs was injured with 11, bullet wounds. This woman almost lost her life. So being in that toxic relationship almost cost her her life. So now she's speaking out to people, warning them if they're in any kind of toxic situation or any kind of toxic relationship to get out. Luckily, she survived. But that was just one story that I decided to do tonight. I wasn't gonna stay before you guys too long, but I just wanted to be faithful to you guys and let you know that if you are in a toxic situation, please get out. There's no time to sit and think about it. You know, there's help out here. Once again, I will also leave a link in my bio under this video. And if you are in that situation, or if you know somebody that's in that situation, please don't hesitate to help. And if you have any kind of evidence, help the person get evidence against the person. Because, I mean, these situations, these fatal attraction relationships are definitely getting out of hand. And it seems like every year it's getting worse and worse every day. Not just every year, every day around the world. So be encouraged, you know, for the people that are going through stuff like this. I'm sure that if you wouldn't be watching me if you're not going through something like this, or if you're watching me, you're just watching because you like to hear about the, you know, or learn about the fatal attraction relationships or in the characteristics of this thing. I apologize for kind of speeding up on you guys tonight. I will be back on air next week, every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you have a situation or a story that you would like to share, please don't hesitate to send an email or comment below this video, and I will respond back to you as soon as I can. All right, so thank you guys once again for watching Real Facts, and I will see you guys next week. All right, stay encouraged. Thanks.
How deep is your love? Till I never hit me harder again. How deep is your love? How deep is your